Hi everyone. In my previous video, we looked at several scenarios in which trapping doesn't work. Today, we'll take a look at where the concept of trapping comes from and what to do when trapping isn't an option. Now, some of you might be wondering, does Wing Chun even exist without trapping? So I'm going to start by clarifying that contrary to popular belief, Wing Chun isn't only about trapping. In fact, trapping isn't even something we look for. It isn't something we need to do in order to feel worthy of calling ourselves Wing Chun practitioners. What we do look for is to defend centerline. And if trapping happens, then great. But if it doesn't, it's no big deal. But if this is true, then where does the idea of trapping come from? And why does it seem like there's so much emphasis put on trapping in Wing Chun? Well, it's pretty simple. Trapping comes from the idea of not wanting to exchange strikes with your opponent. It comes from wanting to hit without being hit. We know that it only takes one good hit to end a fight. So why would anyone just want to stand there and trade shots? Trapping, if we can pull it off, is a great way of hitting without being hit. But as we've seen, it's much easier said than done. So the question then is there a way to pull off this concept in practical terms against a resisting opponent when trapping isn't an option? The answer is yes, and here's how. The first thing to do is to take note of how the opponent likes to face. Every fighter has his own preferred angle of facing his opponent. So what you want to do is to avoid standing exactly where your opponent wants you to be standing. You can do this by either angling off to the side or spinning him away. For example, if the opponent is standing with shoulders bladed and throws a jab, even if you defend it successfully with Pak Da and land your strike, it might not be such a good idea to keep standing in his initial line of attack, because he'll be standing in a way that makes it difficult for you to trap his backhand, which he can fire at any moment. A better approach would be to angle off to the side. Now, doing this doesn't guarantee that you won't get hit, but it does make you more difficult to hit because you'll no longer be standing exactly in the opponent's preferred line of fire. Which means that 1, he has to spend precious milliseconds trying to readjust his aim. 2, he has to spend more precious milliseconds readjusting his movement. 3, you gain more precious milliseconds by being further from his backhand than you were initially. 4, if he does land a follow-up strike, it'll likely have less power behind it because his balance will be less than optimal. And 5, if he wants to follow up with maximum efficiency, he has to spend even more precious milliseconds readjusting his foot positioning. Granted, milliseconds aren't a lot to work with, but fighting is a game of inches, and the more of those you can gain, the better off you'll be. What you want to do, as you're angling off to the side, is to counter and follow up with strikes of your own while he's trying to make those adjustments. The more you can force your opponent to have to readjust himself before he can attack, by having to reposition his head, his hands, his feet, or his center of gravity, the more it causes a delay in his timing that you can capitalize on. In this position, instead of following up with strikes, you can even shoot for a takedown if you're into that sort of thing, because there's nothing in the way to defend it. In angling off to the side, you want to position yourself where your target is closer and more accessible to your tools than his target is to his tools. Then you'll be in an advantageous position to apply straight line theory. If your timing is good on the sidestep, for the half a second it'll take him to readjust himself, his rear hand will actually be further away from you than his head and torso. For that short period of time, that rear hand is out of the picture because it cannot attack or defend effectively from there. So there's no use in wasting time trying to trap it when you have a clear and direct path to either his head or his abdomen. The goal from this position would simply be to hit the line as hard and as fast as possible while trying to maintain positional advantage. And also being careful not to get caught by a spinning back fist or a spinning back elbow coming from the opposite side. And that is how you apply the Wing Chun concept of hitting from the safest possible position without using hand trapping techniques and without chasing hands. In the next video, we're going to discuss how to actually trap the opponent when trapping is an option. And it has nothing to do with putting people in pretzel-like positions. If you found this video helpful, remember to hit that like button. And until next time, train well, and thanks for watching.